Welcome everyone, my name is Kevin. Today I am really excited to bring you the iPhone 12 versus Samsung Galaxy A71 head-to-head comparison. Now you may already know the Galaxy A71 has been out for quite some time, but it's actually been brought back as a higher tier 5G model. This comparison should give you a good perspective on how much value you actually get from this new iPhone. It is by no means a mid-range phone like the A71 is, but it is a middle offering between the iPhone 12 series. Of course, I'll be doing my regular speed tests, the camera comparison, we'll talk about the overall performance and value for the money that you get, also package contents. Let's just get to it. As you know, Samsung has made the A71 and the A71 5G feature-packed with an expandable memory slot, dual SIM tray, the headphone jack, an on-screen fingerprint scanner, FM radio, and NFC for some market regions. It has a Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, 6 or 8 GB of RAM, and a very large 4500 mAh battery. The new iPhone 12 has stuck to relatively the same design as what was found on last year's iPhone. Some of the key specifications have remained the same too, such as its 4 GB of RAM. The screen-to-bezel ratio has been improved, the sides have been flattened, and so is the display, but again, what remains is the large notch that houses sensors for iPhone 12's Face Unlock. I will compare the Face Unlock here to the Galaxy A71's Face Recognition Unlock, but first actually, I want to ask you, what do you think about these notches here? The iPhone's notch versus a camera cutout, a hole punch cutout, like the one on the A71. Actually, let me know in the comments. The features that iPhone 12 bring to the table are advanced wireless charging through MagSafe and the regular Qi standard. There's new camera capabilities that we will put to the test, but the most notable change in my opinion is the Apple A14 Bionic chip. We have retained the water resistance rating on the iPhone 12, which is another very practical and useful feature that the Galaxy A71 doesn't have. And by the way, that is a better resistance rating than what was found on the iPhone SE. Here is the side-by-side unlocking speed difference between Face ID and Samsung's Face Recognition. A71 has an extra option of an on-screen fingerprint scanner, and it has improved with software updates. The displays of these phones have been done very well on both. Now, besides the notch on the iPhone, we have a resolution of 2532 by 1170, and it's a 6.1-inch display. That's a sharp pixel density of 460. This Super Retina XDR OLED panel is the same resolution as what was found in the even more expensive iPhone 12 Pro. It is stunning in terms of colors, viewing angles, and of course sharpness. The feeling you get when holding this at regular viewing distance is immersive and a more premium vibe than what you would expect from these specifications on paper. Now, on the A71 is a technologically less sophisticated 393 pixel per inch display. It's a 2400 resolution by 1080 display. And the colors, vibrancy, sharpness, and viewing angles are all absolutely nothing to complain about. They're all phenomenal for the price tag. And overall, after all these months of use, I'm still very happy with it. On my Galaxy devices, the Corning Gorilla Glass has held up decently well to drops and scratches. With the iPhone, I have to take my time a little bit more, and I'll give you my full report in the review. But what's certain right now, and what's clear as day, is that the construction of the iPhone 12 is just superior. What I had time to test out was the battery life, general performance, and the cameras. So let's talk battery first. Samsung's mid-ranger has surprisingly outclassed the iPhone in this regard. Its 4500 mAh battery isn't even the largest cell that Samsung has put into a phone of its price range. Despite this, it is still capable of super fast 25-watt charging through the included super fast charger. Once fully powered up, you have easily got a day and a half of battery life. Now, with my medium to heavy use, this was 8 hours and 35 minutes of on-screen time. The iPhone 12 packs a much smaller battery at 2815 mAh. It's capable of charging at 15 watts through the proprietary MagSafe charger, or 20 watts with a cable and a fast charging brick. As I've said before in my iPhone versus Galaxy phone comparisons, Apple has a way of making the most of their battery cells with the better battery efficiency. Even so, the iPhone 12 fell short of the A71's readout, giving me just a few minutes over 7 hours. Now, keep in mind this is the exact same use case between the two phones, same settings, connectivity, and brightness. You know, it's interesting to bring up 20-watt charging speed, because out of the box, that is not possible. It's not happening because, as many of you know, the iPhone 12 is not shipping with a power adapter at all. Here is what does come in the iPhone box this time around. We have the Lightning to USB-C cable, the SIM tool, Apple stickers, and a basic instruction paperwork. On the other hand though, Samsung has been very generous with package inclusions. We have a soft TPU case included, the charging brick, USB-C cable, earbuds, and even a pre-installed screen protector on my phone. I went into detail for the A71's accessory inclusions in my review of the phone and also previous comparison videos of the A71. Now right now, I'm going to give you a brief rundown of the specifications for both before we get into the speed test. On iPhone 12, we have the new 5nm A14 Bionic chip, which is made by TSMC. This phone has incredibly fast 5G connectivity speeds that can be taken advantage of if your carrier supports it. Of course, the internal speeds of the iPhone is super fast NVMe speeds, but the drawback is that the entry model is only 64GB. Here you have a base storage of 128GB. Now you can expand this via a micro SD card slot, of course. Now, not only do you have the option to buy just a regular A71, but of course, as I mentioned, there is an A71 5G, and that has the same reliable and super fast 5G speeds, but it's a little bit pricier. I should note that the storage here is UFS 2.1 speeds. It's not NVMe, and it's not as fast as the iPhone. So the trade-off here is double the storage capacity, but it is slower. Alright, it is speed test time, so let's get booting up. The boot up test win goes to the more expensive iPhone 12. My tests included opening up the camera app, web browser on various different sites using Chrome, and Samsung stock browser versus Apple's Safari. I did these web browser tests a few times over to give both phones a chance to actually shine. I also opened a few apps here consecutively. They were games, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and all across the board. I mean, what were you expecting? The edge in performance goes to the iPhone. I've had the A71 since early this year. Thankfully, I can report that the performance is, if not better, then at least the same speed as it was out of the box. Galaxy A71 owners have received small updates, but they're important. These include camera stability improvements. We got some flagship phone features from the Galaxy S series that we weren't expecting to see on the A series at all imported here, and also just general speed and performance improvement. Now, if you opt for the A71 5G, you get all the same specs, but a Snapdragon 765G. The drastic speed difference between the iPhone 12 and the A71 that we saw here would not be compensated by going for the 5G model. That one is only ever so slightly faster than the base A71. Time for the camera comparison. We have an array of 4 lenses, 64 megapixels for the main lens, there's an ultra-wide camera, depth sensing camera, and a macro lens, which I'll show you. In terms of potential diversification in photo styles, the Galaxy phone takes the win, no doubt, but image quality favors the iPhone. There are 2 lenses here, both 12 megapixels, and the budget has gone a long way to bring a fantastic quality to the optics. Sharpness, colors, and image processing are done phenomenally well by Apple, both in terms of the main lenses when compared to each other, but also the wide angles too. I'll go much further in depth in terms of the camera modes that the iPhone has to offer in my dedicated review. The A71's camera stability update, which was an over-the-air update, did in practice make the camera more stable, but it's still nowhere close to the optical image stabilizing axis that is found on the iPhone 12. The 12 can record 4K video at 60 FPS or 1080p at up to 120 frames. A71 can do 1080p video at an even higher frame rate of 240 FPS, but 4K is limited to just 30 frames. It is nice to see what Samsung has done on their mid-rangers to make them compete with flagship phones. I'm not going through a comparison like this without showing you the selfie test, so you be the judge of which one is better in this department. Speakers on the iPhone are a lot better than what we have on the Galaxy A71. Now, it's not really a close competition. These are louder, they sound better in every single regard. I think when you put the iPhone 12 next to the A71, obviously this is a much more expensive phone, but side by side you start to realize that the A71 starts falling apart in the speaker department, and if Samsung wants their higher end A-series phones to compete with just regular flagships, they're going to have to improve it. If you agree with me and you have an A71, or you think conversely that it's good enough, do let me know. here's the wrap-up of what I've gathered so far in my time with the iPhone 12. The A14 Bionic chip and the camera setup do truly make it stand out in the higher tier and the higher end smartphone market. I purchased both phones with my money, and if you want to keep the channel going the way it is with the phone comparisons, phone reviews, and tablets and a lot of other stuff, make sure you're subscribed to my channel with the notifications turned on. Importantly, also drop me a comment, let me know you appreciate these honest comparisons and like the video. That's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison. Bye for now.